Yes!
Just thank you to everyone who's returning, or returning family members, new members of the team. I know some of you have come a long way today, some as far as Chelmsford, Essex, I think, and this is where it starts to get fun. I'm going to try and make it as funny as possible from now on in. We'll obviously not be laughing at any point, apart from maniacally, but just enjoy it and let's have good fun.
Yeah, I think basically, first of all, thank you very much. I always felt like we've been the luckiest people in the world with the casting of this show and the film, and I think we've got another amazing cast, and you're all brilliant, and I love you all. It sounds insincere, but I really do mean it. Please, don't worry if we're not laughing. Don't worry if we're crying sometimes. That's just how we are.
Let's get on with it.
The camera flies high above dark and foreboding clouds before dropping down through them.
The invitation said dressed to kill, hence what? We have come dressed as killers.
I was involved with the Inbetweeners right from the birth. I think 8 years ago, where I produced the pilot of the Inbetweeners. After the pilot, and went on to do loads of other things. Harry Hill's TV Burp, Mighty Boosh, Man Down, Bo Selector. Now I'm back for the second movie.
Your mum looked well fit when she cries.
Thank you.
I bet she looked amazing when your dad left her.
The other thing that we did is that the film had an alias, so it was called The Long Goodbye, so that when you have email communications or when you're talking to people, it was only ever referred to as The Long Goodbye. The Australian crew would turn up and they didn't actually know that they were working on the Inbetweeners until they got there.
First film was given a code name, and that was the title of another Philip Marlowe novel.
Farewell My Lovely was the first one.
Ian was living in LA at the time, reading a lot of Chandler, and we thought that was a good idea because it was probably the last thing we were going to ever do. And then, as it turned out, it wasn't.
I'm going to bed. Neil, you go.
No, I might wait a bit.
Sorry, Neil. To make up to you, my ping pong fanny girl has a mate. I could set you up.
Nice.
Shake on it.
Cheers, mate.
He's a lady boy.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you shook on it now, bad luck.
Bants?
No, you've got a fucking man with tits.
Or a girl with a penis.
Will, help me out. Sorry, Neil. You shook on it.
Back on a building site in Hackney. This is where it all started for me. Renovating a house. I ripped out a fireplace, and I had no idea what was involved. And they were sort of like big blokes, sort of like, go on, we just need that all ripped out. And then they put me in there, they threw me a mask and just shut the door. I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just start ripping this out. Like, the whole room just filled with like soot. That was it. I was like, oh, gotta get an acting job.
And action!
It's a rape alarm.
Sweetie, I'm just saying it's much better to have a rape alarm and not need it than to get gang raped in an alleyway by men you may have, however innocently, led on.
Fraser Island, Byron Bay.
No, none of that boring shit. I want to go Splash Island. Splash Planet.
Sorry?
Splash Planet.
Splash Island.
The whole of Australia. And you want to visit what I presume is a water park.
Been saying that Jay's dead for years, but he still won't move over here. Too much of a pussy, which is a shame because we could do with a bit more wide immigration.
David Field's going to play my uncle. I was a little bit excited because he's in the film Chopper, which is one of my favourite films. I think it's Keithy George. Anyway, he's a proper actor, David. He's not like us, just sort of mucking about and trying to make people laugh. So he brings this sort of weird intensity that I think is just as funny. He plays sort of dodgy, scary characters, and I think he's sort of brought that, with him. By dodgy and scary, I mean sort of murderers and things like that.
Simon Bird, he always comes up with a game.
Bum slap in Series 1. Poor little thing.
We're not dead! We're not dead!
We made it!
Stand up, stand up.
We made it!
Hug each other.
We're not dead! We're not dead! We made it!
Aroused.
Aroused, okay. Guilty. Guilty, alright, guilty. You've had guilty, you've had angry, you've had horny.
Twitching? I'll be a sheep, I think.
Yeah.
You'll be a sheep. Alright, this is going quite well.
I'd be quite bashful.
Bashful, alright, excellent.
The only time I thought that we'd killed someone was I went out climbing on rocks with my friends, and one of my friends fell off a rock by the coast in Cornwall, off quite a high rock onto another rock, and I just thought we've killed. Like, he's dead. And my main emotion was just embarrassment. I don't want to be those people.
What you were wearing.
I was doing that.
There's going to be films coming. There's going to be.
I was relieved that I'd been let off the hook, that I didn't have to go and tell everyone.
So what wasn't it? What happened to him?
Well, it basically looked for a terrifying second like he was just going to fall on his head, but he kind of just fell on his sort of back.
Something Neil here. Don't know.
Happy, probably, maybe a little bit of cry. I think we all jump up,
Bit of crying.
a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think overwhelmed is great. That's good. Just like, and
Did you say overwhelmed?
yes.
Yeah.
Well done,
Well done, Blake.
Cheers, guys.
It's like schoolwork. I've already done one. I've already done one. We're not dead!
We've got a map here of the world.
This is where we are.
That's where we are now, London.
London. I'll tell you what.
Which may or may not be. We're in London. That's the capital of England.
Go on. Sorry, Joe just turned a bit off. Can we stop? Because Joe's turned a bit off. Focus.
Here is Mallorca in the Balearic Islands. That's where we filmed the first film, Magaluf.
Yep. This is where we filmed the second series on the Garver, just off the Hudson Strait. Yeah,
Which really sort of suited me because I lived just off the coast of Argentina.
Yeah.
The second film is located in Australia, and yet weirdly we're actually filmed it up here, filming there.
To give you an idea of just how massive Australia is, you could probably only
as big as my hand.
you could probably only fit Australia into Joe's mum's vagina about 3 times.
We're recording this in 2004. We actually set sail in late 2004, and I believe we arrived to start filming in 2013.
Right. Next stop, Australia.
Obviously, now that you've seen the film, it's set in Australia. We can tell you that because you've seen it, although it was a big secret for a long, long time. One of the things that we had to do was to scout the locations that we were going to film in Australia. I think there was 8 of us, 9 of us flew to Australia early November to go and scout deserts and water parks and houses and all that type of thing.
I suppose if you imagine Australia, there are certain preconceptions you might have about the place, and I think I definitely had those. You know, it would be a hot country full of, white sort of European people, and sort of thought like I knew everything about Australia, and yet when I got there, I was absolutely blown away by the scale of the place. I mean, it's vast. There are 25 million people living in a country the size of Central Europe, and I think when you get there and you travel those long distances, and you go through those changes in landscape and scenery, you really begin to shit yourself, frankly, at the challenge you set of trying to film, a comedy on the other side of the world.
But pretty much as soon as we got to Australia, and you even just get to Sydney Harbour, you're like, well, we're not going to be able to recreate this really, so we should be here. And again, it was wonderful being in Australia because the reaction that the guys got, the 4 actors particularly, just from people around the restaurants and bars, and on the street was incredible and actually really exciting for us, and it gave us a real boost being there because people really like the film and the TV show, and they kind of don't expect to see you in Australia because it is quite a long way away. So you don't expect to see the Inbetweeners at the corner shop.
There was a great moment where we sort of stepped off the plane, been taken to our apartments. The sun was setting, everyone was exhausted, And it was like, let's get a night's sleep and we'll start work the next day. And we just walked down to the nearest grocer's shop where we were staying with the 4 boys. And as we went into this grocer's, there were 3 teenage boys with skateboards coming out. And we just completely forgotten that they even had a presence there. I think we were terribly jet lagged. And they looked like they'd just seen ghosts because they looked at the 4 boys.
And I thought one of like that classic thing, like walking into one of the stacks of tins in the supermarket. It's just like, we've hopefully made another British film about British people. But, you know, hopefully, I think if you're Australian, there's something else there for you this time as well.
So in the film, we have Jay's email sequence, which is a big email sequence which starts on the beach, takes him through to the nightclub, takes him through to his mansion, which we filmed in the Gold Coast, in a very nice man's house.
If you live in the UK, Australia's quite a long way away, it turns out. So when we got there, we didn't have much time to recce, to then come back, to keep rewriting and rehearsing and casting, and to then fly back again. So when we were there, we had to go and look at all these houses for Jay's email sequence. We wanted to have them in one take. And we saw probably 4 or 5 in 2 days, I think, and they were all quite far apart, and none of them were quite right. So we didn't have much time to go, and we couldn't just keep looking forever because we were running out of time. So we had to try and make the ones that we had work. And how he did that was Ben Wheeler took the camera and we walked it through, just literally grabbing anyone available to stand in for various girls that Jay was saying he was in sex with. Yeah. Before that, I was living with my uncle Brian, who's a dick, frankly. Obviously, my dad's cousin, but obviously not as cool as my dad.
That's price to you, that's a bird's eye view, which is Australian for nobbing.
All of them are much fitter than Jay. I've had some pretty fancy dinners with all my mates, and Australia, and I met a lot of supermodels, who, by the way, love a tap machine. Everything's going brilliantly, and I'm woken up every single morning by a blowjob. If you can imagine what that's like, woken up by a blowy every morning. Anyway, that's basically it. And everything in my life is much better than yours, and certainly much better than when I was with Jane, who, as I mentioned, I now don't think about.
We had a location scout out in Australia who went to Broken Hill, Uluru, I think, and about 4 other places, and sent us back loads of amazing pictures of different terrains and different deserts to have a look at.
That, I believe, I'm going to go for kangaroo shit, I think.
And we basically narrowed it down to 2, which was Broken Hill and Maree. Went to Broken Hill first, but one of the main issues we had there is that if it rains at all in Broken Hill, there's all this shrubbery that basically will just spring up, and it's green everywhere. And an interesting fact about Broken Hill is where Mad Max was filmed, and the latest Mad Max movie had to move to Namibia because the terrain in Broken Hill changed so much because of the green.
It's exciting because I love flies and I love the heat, so it's just like a theme park for me. It's very exciting as well, looking at this, because this is somewhere where I get the sense that you definitely could die.
Silverton, which is a little town outside Broken Hill, still very deadly, still do a lot of filming there. And the Silverton pub is the classic Aussie pub, corrugated iron roof. Loads of people have passed through over the years, and they have a game that they play there, and you give a couple of bucks to charity and they'll play this game for you. It's called the Silverton Pub Challenge, let's say.
You get a potato and a funnel, don't you?
You get a potato and a funnel, basically you have to put the funnel down your trousers. Now most people at this stage will be thinking, I imagine there's some sort of trick involved, or should I be doing this? Or this doesn't seem like this seems like a very weird game to be playing in the Australian Outback. But you put a funnel down your trousers. They've got enough funnels for everyone, don't worry. If you go as a group, and then you have to balance a potato on your head, and you have to roll the potato into the funnel. But what actually happens is, you put the potato on your head, you're waiting to go, and they spray water directly into your underpants. Which I think probably in November in Birmingham might be horrendous. In the incredibly hot Outback, it was all right. It was actually quite refreshing. Lucky enough, I went and did a few days research backpacking in Australia for the film, and that was pretty special. And I spent a good time with some nice British backpackers out there, and they talked me through a lot of things. Got a few ideas from them as well, just basically from sitting there thinking, I can't believe this is happening. Why have I not been doing this for 20 years? Why have I not got dreadlocks and loads of tattoos? I've just spent 20 years playing the ukulele round backpacking hostels. This is amazing. But the Arts Factory Lodge.
They've got the very public face of the East Coast Travellers route, and a lot of people who sort of come there to sort of drop out and meditate, let's say. But also, there's a whole really vibrant arts community there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
People
and
live there.
People are really sort of laid back,
hip.
but also it's basically a really, really nice place.
When we were on the recce, actually, we were planning on staying the night because Ian and Damon wanted to get the vibe of the whole place to help with the writing and stuff. And when we got there, we basically all refused and went off and stayed in a hotel instead.
This is the Australian wave to get rid of the flies. We're going to, what's it called?
Where?
Maree.
Oh, yeah.
Maree, to go and have a look at an alternative location to Broken Hill for the final scenes of this film. We're never close. See you in about 1,000 kilometres at midnight.
And then we did a minibus journey for 10 hours from Broken Hill to Maree, across the whole of South Australia to get to Maree. And when we got to Maree, it was perfect. And also the fact that it hadn't rained there for about 400 years. So the risk of, the shoot not going well was not there.
From the moment we got there, we were like, okay, this is the place we're going to film, because they were so, not just accommodating, but nice. And it felt like home. It was a really weird thing to be somewhere that's so alien and so different, and yet that pub and those people made us all everyone feel really, really at home and comfortable in the middle of the desert.
The Rover was shot out here with Guy Pearce, Rob Patterson, David Field and Scoot McNairy. They were here for 3 weeks, about 120, 130. We had a ball. One really good memorable moment, we did it towards the end of their time here, and I said, why don't you throw the bar open? You guys come in and serve all the locals, be it Maz and I'll pay for it. Yeah. So for 1 hour, they just served everyone in the town grog. The guys got right into it.
Phil's in it, actually. Phil, who runs a hotel, he's an extra
in our teaser trailer.
In our teaser trailer.
I had the real pleasure of actually having a little small role in front of the camera for the promo sequence for the film, which was a new experience for me. And we did that just along the Udnadatta track at night. So I was able to see the professionalism of the crew firsthand. I got to say the lighting guys were amazing. Very, very difficult conditions in dust and dirt, salt bush. We got a little star prickle out here, which is a 3-cornered spur. Doesn't matter which way it lands on the ground, it always puts a spur up, and it'll go through the sole of your foot. And there are millions of those around, and to film in those conditions was quite extraordinary. So it was a lot of fun.
I nearly killed us on one of the recce drives. There are all these dips, basically, and they put a white pole by the side to let you know when there's a dip coming. But I didn't notice the time. We just left, and we were banging it out of Marius.
You were showing off a little bit, weren't you?
I was just, I knew what I was doing.
Manager,
I knew what I was
know
doing.
how to handle this.
And I remember I was recounting a story that Henry Blofeld had told on Test Match Special. And I got quite carried away telling this story and how cool it was. And I hit one of these dips at about 100, 110.
We saw the dip.
Dip. But we hit it at pace.
From his anecdote.
And we hit it. And we've got a bit of air in a four-wheel drive. With 5 men in a four-wheel drive is no mean feat.
There were also times that still, it genuinely did. There was a moment, it was like all the oxygen had been sucked out of the car as we were off the ground, and we just thought...
So we're so far away.
If you broke down...
Yeah, we were in trouble. There's no phone reception or anything.
Yeah. So there was a moment where it all just hung in the air and you just thought, this is interesting. This might be the end.
We were there for, I think, 11 days and we did not stop travelling. We literally got off the plane at Sydney. We wrecked straight away. Then we went straight to Broken Hill. Then we did Maree. Then we went to the Gold Coast, and then we went back to Sydney, and that was all in basically 11 days. So we were pretty shattered.
Spent a meal with the birds. I'm moving to Australia. It's incredible. That's beautiful. Wow, what a holiday.